it appeared to already been viewed when it went on Netflix.
Yes, I watched it Christmas night. I was like, this would be a good Christmas movie.
Yeah.
About death.
Is it about death?
No, I think it's about motherhood, obviously.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of The Road, which I guess is maybe intentional. But I read that maybe 6 months after Ryan was born.
Then you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it was really
oh man,
really heavy. And I had some flashbacks to that watching Bird Box.
I thought Bird Box is pretty good. I mean, not like it's not going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, but I was surprised how good it was for Netflix.
Yeah.
Also, Sandra Bullock is still a babe, even though she's like 50 years old.
Yeah, Jesse James, what were you thinking? You're a real piece of shit, Jesse James.
He was thinking, boy, I love Nazi stuff.
Is he into Nazi shit? I don't really know anything about Jesse James.
Like when they were breaking up, there were like pictures of him.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, I remember that.
SS gear leaked and stuff.
Yeah, is she into Nazi shit? Maybe I need to rethink my
I don't
Sandra
think
Bullock.
so. No, I don't think he. I'm not trying to apologize.
That really come at me from the blind side.
Well, I got blindsided. I'm not trying to be a Jesse James apologist or anything. I don't think maybe he's really into Nazi shit either. It was just like when Prince Harry dressed up as Hitler for Halloween as a gag. It's like not a very good gag, but you know,
it's real hard to find the humor, but it's there. Maybe.
I don't know. Jesse James is kind of a cracker though, so who knows?
I mean, your name's Jesse James.
Mm-hmm.
You're already like at the scale of 1 to 10, you're already about a 5 on the cracker scale.
I mean, I think the royal family are crackers too. Well, honkies, I guess.
These are inbred honkies.
Yeah, because honkies are usually like the wealthy, sucky white people.
Mm-hmm.
Crackers are the poor ones.
Honky.
Yeah, honky. Speaking of new movies, I've been catching up on the good stuff for 2018. Movies that are, you know, topping out on people's best of year-end lists. Watched a few documentaries. I mentioned I watched the alt-right one. It wasn't really new information to me because I spent a lot of time trolling the alt-right subreddits and stuff like that.
I mean, it shouldn't. Anybody that grew up on the internet in the 90s should be familiar enough with this kind of mentality.
Yeah, because
it's the same shit that you've seen online. Everybody just thought they were trolls, and they didn't actually mean it. Turns out, some people really mean this shit.
Some people really into it. Yeah, but big takeaway, Richard Spencer looks like a fat bitch. Yeah.
He's already been punched once. Do you really need to punch him again?
I mean, he just he perfuses, you know, basically white superiority. He's all about masculinity, shit like that. But like, where's your fucking jawline at, man? You don't look very masculine. Like I told you, he doesn't know how to smoke a cigarette. Like he's not inhaling. He just straight up little bitch, man. I don't like him. He's trying to be all classy, classical man. Like, oh, look at me, just choke on my cigarette. Real manly,
classical,
I guess.
Man. Like Gary Cooper?
I guess. I don't know. Well, yeah, he tries to dress like he's from the 40s, like all those dumb bitches do. Like, oh, look at me, I'm wearing the fucking costume of the bourgeois from the 40s.
Yeah, he does a little bit better because at least his suits are somewhat tailored.
Well, yeah, because his daddy's rich.
He's a honky.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. He's like the king of the honkies.
I am the
walrus. Cuckoo. Also, I gotta complain about First Man, the movie about Neil Armstrong.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty
cool. I
cool.
won't see it, actually.
Damien Chazelle is a good director. I like the way it's shot. Ryan Gosling, I always like him. I know everyone says he's like an emotionless robot, but I do like his acting style.
Yeah, there's some movies I see him in, I'm like, he doesn't work here.
Well, he just kind of acts with his eyes like Elijah Wood, but he's not quite as expressive. So
I mean, Elijah Wood has like some really big, beautiful eyes that I don't get lost in, so that might be part of the problem.
But no, my complaint is beginning of the movie, Neil Armstrong's daughter dies, and obviously it's a big emotional blow to him, and that's kind of what the movie's about. Is his he's becoming distant from his family. He has like emotional trauma he hasn't dealt with. Blah blah blah. End of the movie. He makes it to the moon. He drops his daughter's bracelet into a crater on the moon, and it's like this big, cacophonous explosion of sound and lights, and it's like, oh, he did it. He conquered his emotional turmoil, and it's like, okay, so his daughter dies, and how he's gonna fix it is just by the magical frontier exploration of space. It just seems so empty and dumb.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that has kids, I don't know that that's how if I just dropping their bracelet into a crater on the moon would make me feel any
No,
better
it's
at
the
all.
glory of exploration of space.
Yeah, I don't get
Whoa.
nah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That's not the part you miss about your daughter, so I don't see how that fills the void.
That's the thing is, space is really cool. I really like space exploration. It was a good movie, all that sort of shit. But everything of value is happening here on Earth in my life. You know,
Yeah.
going to the moon is not going to help me get over my depression or any random shit like that. You know what I mean? Well, I made it to the moon, but you know, everything else is still happening on Earth. So fuck the moon. Also, it was a hoax, anyways. Stanley Kubrick filmed it. Yeah.
I don't know. Stanley Kubrick could do a better job than the shots we saw from him.
Mm-hmm. He's a perfectionist and needs to look as real as possible. That's definitely what Stanley Kubrick would do.
Well, it was an old joke, right? That Stanley Kubrick was the one that filmed it, but he's such a perfectionist that he demanded they actually film it on
Had to
location.
film on location on the moon. So, all right, get those men to the moon. Invent NASA and get us to the moon.
Before we actually talk about Blade Runner, I gotta mention one thing. The kids, have you ever watched the cartoon Clarence on Cartoon Network?
Yeah, I've seen it like when your kids come over.
Yeah, okay. Because they watch it constantly. I've seen every episode like 10 times at this point.
Well, they show it all the time on Cartoon Network. It's like on all the time, isn't it?
No, it's on Hulu, and they're just
Oh.
if they're over here, they're just watching it on Hulu.
Oh, probably, yeah. I just assumed like it was always on Cartoon
Yeah, I
Network.
think Teen Titans is Cartoon Network.
Teen Titans Go.
It's Teen Titans Cartoon Network. Teen Titans Go.
It's Teen Titans Go Network.
But it like takes place in it's just a jump point, pop point to see if you remember this, but it takes place in the 90s.
Okay.
Like so, there's some. And they don't always do a great job of showing it because sometimes they have like real cell phones, but it's very friendly in the 90s.
Where are their pagers?
They're not drug dealers.
Oh. Well,
or doctors, which is the only people that had pagers even in the 90s.
No, I remember regular ass people having pagers.
Yeah, and there was a pager code.
But they were like my friends who were the younger brothers of drug dealers. Just getting started, you know?
Gotta work. It's your baby's first drug pager.
Yeah, not to talk down North Bay, but you know what was going on at the time. You know what it is.
But do you remember like a well scare in the 90s? You might not be.
Oh yeah,
people falling in wells all the time.
Yeah, that little girl.
Because there's an episode where
wasn't it? One of them was a hoax, though, right?
Yeah, I think there's two where the real one was hoax. I feel like this happened a bunch of times. Enough that like there's an episode of The Simpsons about it, and Sting is in it.
Yeah,
Bart gets stuck on the wall.
He makes a song about it.
And you remember Mom like repeatedly tell us to be careful about open wells. We're gonna run into all these open wells in fucking North Bay.
Yeah, the North Bay area, pretty urban. I mean, we had a creek behind our house.
Yeah, I mean
which will come up again in this podcast because I need to talk about some of the sound work was interesting to me.
The reminds you of creeks.
We'll get to it.
And there was that strawberry farm. I guess they could have had a well, but
yeah, or over by like when you started going to Grange, the junior high school, you'd have to go by like that train track area.
That's probably well over there.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty like run down and old, so maybe over there.
I just don't think that area of California is known for its wells, but it happened enough that Mom was worried about it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Mom's got a little bit of that streak where it's like made up shit on the news to scare people, and she'll believe it for a little bit. Yeah, but kids were getting lost in wells. One of them, her name was originally Sadako, but Samara. And she's a spooky ghost now in the documentary The Ring, or Ringu, depending on what region you saw it from. That's the most famous little girl falling down a well, I think.
That's it. I just remember the second Ring, not Ringu, but Ring, and there's some deers
that attacked the car. Yeah, that was pretty good.
The funniest part of that entire movie.
I haven't watched it since we saw it in the theaters that one time, but I remember. So I had to be like 19 when we saw it, like old enough.
You're older than that.
20 something, but I remember completely not understanding the plot in any way.
Ring 2?
Yeah, or not that I wasn't understanding it, but like the plot didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like what was going on? Why was she back? Why? You know what I mean? It was just like what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That entire movie, that was the best part of the movie. That was the only part of the movie I enjoyed. Is the deers attacking, and it was only because it was fun.
Shortly before Halloween, I watched Sadako versus
The Grudge versus
the basically Ring versus Grudge. It was pretty wild. It was fun for being like super dumb.
Well, I mean, I remember liking Freddy vs. Jason. It was fun.
Yeah, for the
It was
same
so good,
reasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
And being really excited for the potential of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash.
They made a TV show, didn't they?
No, they just made an Evil Dead TV show.
Oh, he didn't fight Freddy and Jason.
I don't believe so.
Oh.
Maybe in the canceled 4th season.
Well, I'm glad Bruce Campbell's still getting work based off of that one movie he did with Sam Raimi. All right, it's been mentioned, but we watched Blade Runner. We watched the shit out of it.
We watched the final cut. I also watched the theatrical cut too.
Yeah, I tried to watch the theatrical cut. I think I fell asleep about 40 minutes into it.
Well, this would be a good segue. The first time in my most vivid memory watching Blade Runner. You remember this?
We rented
Road
it
trip
from the hotel video store. Yeah.
So it was I don't remember where we were going from or going to, but it was like on the way home, I think.
It was on the way back from Arizona because
our sister lived out here and she just had a baby.
Yeah,
right?
and we were going back to California. Stopped at I don't know some.
It can't be that. It had to be before that because it was like 91.
No, I think I was probably 10-ish.
Because I feel like we would have seen the director's cut at that point if we were renting a video.
No, because it was the hotel.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Video collection, and they didn't have the up to date version of Blade Runner. They had the VHS that came out in 1984.
Yeah, but that's he's watching in a hotel room with you and Dad, and then Dad falling asleep about 20 minutes into it. But I really have a vivid memory of the first shot right after the opening crawl. Where it's Los Angeles 2019,
the fire shooting out of
that
buildings.
establishing shot. I have a really clear picture of that in my head.
Yeah, well, for me, that shot and also the sound too, because it's just got that ominous and you're like, oh my god, this is the future. Speaking of which, it takes place in 2019, which is about a
3
day
days
away.
No, pretty accurate too.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to start dressing a lot cooler in about a week.
Oh, you mean I have to dress like Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly?
Oh yeah, I guess they did kind of copy his look, huh?
Yeah. That's the one thing I don't know if I wrote it down, but when I was watching it the first time, like, if Joss Whedon made a sequel to Serenity and they showed some slum in Earth and it was just like a Blade Runner, it would be completely in place. It would make perfect sense for the universe that Joss Whedon has presented.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because Ridley Scott has alluded to the fact that Blade Runner exists in the same universe as Aliens. Aliens Resurrection alludes to the fact that it exists in the same world as Firefly and Serenity. So, technically, these might be the same universe.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah, because Joss Whedon was the writer for Alien Resurrection.
But he hadn't written Firefly or Serenity yet, had he?
No, but
he had the idea.
He dropped some,
brown coat reference
companies and, background stuff in Alien Resurrection that also exist in Firefly.
Well, goddamn, Kyle.
Yep, it's like Wayland Industries from Alien exists, or exists in the background of Blade Runner, or something like that. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
I'll look into it again, but that's interesting because I mean, Deckard is kind of wearing a brown coat jacket, right?
Yeah. And it's like the
I assume that
stuff.
Joss Whedon just cribbed Deckard style from Mal.
Yeah, because it's a pretty dynamic look. Like everyone kind of knows. Anyone who's interested in the sci-fi knows what Deckard looks like.
The other thing I guess I'll say at the top is that this is Laser Since Future Raymond Chandler. If anybody's ever read those old Philip Marlowe stories, who I really love Raymond Chandler. There aren't any better hard-boiled detective stories.
No, those are probably the best. Also, Big Lebowski is inspired by Raymond Chandler stories. Instead of being a private investigator, though, he just kind of bumbles into it, which is great. So it takes place in 2019, which is interesting because we don't got flying cars and shit yet.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
We do have corporate ownership of everything now.
I got that right.
Came out in 1982 though. Fucking it's Blade Runner. You know what it is. Ridley Scott directed it. Studio fired him at the end because they went over budget, over time. They recut it, did a test screening. People hated it, cut it again, added narration that was written by some ancillary third-party writer who didn't have anything to do with the screenplay or anything like that. That's what they released. It bombed. It also came out the same weekend as E.T., so...
that's a rough one.
Yep.
That's one my kids watch, E.T.
E.T., yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Oh, we could probably watch E.T. I don't know, I feel like we're cheating by watching actual good movies, though.
Yeah, I do a little bit, too. I mean, for the most part, we've watched low movies that have not made a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
E.T. is a movie that's made
That's
a
a
ton of money.
blockbuster. Blade Runner I'd say Blade Runner is like the blockbuster of cult movies, though.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it's like top of the pile. Like RoboCop, Blade Runner. You know what movies you think of that are cult movies?
Yeah,
but are actually
that's
like
true.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Big part of the zeitgeist. But yeah, so then, it's opening weekend is ET, so it's already fucked. Then it had like bad word of mouth because people complained about how long it was and they didn't understand the plot, shit like that. Then he came out on home video, did all right, started getting a cult following. They released a director's cut. That's not a director's cut because Ridley Scott didn't have final approval on it.
Yeah, there's like 900 cuts of this movie.
Yeah. But we watched the final cut, which is Ridley Scott's cut of the movie.
Yeah, and again, we also kind of watched the theatrical cut too, just to refresh our memories.
Mm-hmm. Just remember that bad narration.
Yeah, that narration.
Well, Harrison Ford thought it was dumb as shit, so he's just reading it like...
He's like, this is dumb shit.
Yeah.
The thing, too, is that you could have done some interesting stuff with the narration. We talked about it in another...
We generally Ghoulies,
don't
I think.
Was it Ghoulies? Yeah, narration in movies is generally stupid.
Yeah, show don't tell.
But,
simple as that.
I also don't know how I feel about the fucking opening scroll in this movie.
Oh, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I don't
like opening scroll.
Have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
I have not watched it yet. I'm gonna watch it tonight or tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, you should. It's like my favorite movie last year.
Okay.
But
I'm actually kind of excited to watch it because my memory of Blade Runner again is from that hotel room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I liked it, but the narration was shit, and there are parts that just didn't work.
Yeah.
As well.
Well,
there's some weird continuity errors in the theatrical cut.
Mm.
Like, where the fuck is that other replicant?
Who knows? Who knows?
There's 6 replicants, 1 died, and we lost track of the other 4. Alright, that's great. You seem to have lost track of 1 completely.
Well, yeah, in this version, there's an actual line where, like, they broke into this facility, 2 of them got electrocuted to death.
But in the theatrical, only 1 got electrocuted to death, and they lost track of 4, and the chief doesn't mention the other one.
That seems like a really dumb cut.
It's a
like,
super obvious continuity right?
Make this movie make sense, okay. Yeah, so that's one of my most vivid memories of it. Of course, seeing parts of it on TV and shit.
Yeah.
And then, probably around 2007, 2008, when the final cut came out, and I sat down and watched it, and I was like, oh, yeah, Blade Runner. I get it now.
This goes back to another podcast, too, but, like, when I said that I haven't watched a movie since, like, 2008, it's not that inaccurate.
Yeah.
I read a lot about the re-edits and cuts when the final cut came out in 2007, but I never actually saw it. I remember there was like a collector's edition came out with like a suitcase and it had like every version in it. I'm like, I'm gonna buy that if it goes on sale, and I never bought it.
Yeah, it's also that's not a good purchase because this
you're only gonna watch the final cut.
Yeah, right? I'm probably only ever gonna watch the final cut again because it makes it into an actual great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the other ones are like the pieces are there, but they're just jumbled a little bit.
Yeah, so like again, the opening scroll, I don't like anything. I've never liked an opening scroll that wasn't Star Wars.
That's why I brought 2049. The scroll for that one is pretty similar, but written slightly better, and it's just kind of like
punchier.
This is what's been happening for the last 40 or 30 years. Okay, let's go. I don't like. I hate the way this one retires, where it's like they don't call it murder, they call it retirement. It's like, what?
That's a weird thing.
You don't need to put that in there.
But to go back to the narration, they could have done some interesting things with the narration. They just, again, it's just a lot of telling, but you can kind of show what Deckard's about by having him do other stuff.
Well, check it out. This Final Cut version doesn't have a narration, and you know what's going on by what's happening on screen.
Right, but there's like I wrote down a Raymond Chandler rhyme from I want to say the Little Sister. I think it's the Little Sister, but because I really like it. But I think if they did narration in that kind of style, it would have made sense. So I'm gonna read you the line.
Okay.
From 30 feet away, she looked like a lot of class. From 10 feet away, she looked like something made up to be seen from 30 feet away.
Nice. But yeah, that's the thing they're
like
going for with the narration is.
But they weren't though. They're literally telling you exposition.
Yeah, but what they're attempting to do was that old school film noir narration or
detective story. I guess what I'm getting at is they didn't. They should have done it. They should have actually done what they. If that's what they were intending to do, they should have done it because they didn't do fucking shit.
Oh, they just had some, like I said, some studio stooge wrote it.
Yeah, like who though? It's not good writing from anybody.
No. I'm sure he's not a writer. It was like a producer or some shit. He's like, I got this. Don't
There's
worry.
a.
I took a writing class in college, so.
I got another line from Seinfeld, riding comedians in cars getting coffee,
Mhm.
when he talks about getting studio notes, and he's like, you're not paid to be funny. Your job is not to be funny. My job is to be funny and creative. So I don't need you to do things that aren't your job.
Yeah.
Like this, you haven't worked 30 years, in comedy and to be a funny person and to make a TV show. I don't need your notes. Is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, that is such a weird attitude to have. Like, I am a businessman. I make money. But you know what? Let me tell you what to do for something you've been doing for 30 years.
It's like going to a search
what?
and you're like, no, not that. That one.
Yeah. No, I don't think you know. I don't think you've been
No,
practicing.
that's not the order of the ventricle. You fucking
I don't.
moron.
My wife, and my people I pay laugh at everything I say. So I must be pretty funny.
And I mean, it's not to say that people can't have good ideas or like I think it's a studio note saying, hey, we don't really like this is helpful. I just don't need the comma after that saying you should do this instead.
I don't know. Like, oh, we don't really like this. Like, all right, this is your money, I guess, kind of, but you guys don't fucking know.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Um,
This movie is a good example, maybe the best example of studio interference can really fuck with a story.
Yes. Ridley Scott, to be honest, like didn't do himself any favors while they're filming it. He's got that perfectionist streak like Stanley Kubrick. The problem is he didn't have the clout to be Stanley Kubrick. So all he ended up doing was annoying people that did have a lot of power in the industry, like Harrison Ford and Rutger Hauer. And he did go over budget. They shot for way too long. None of the cast and crew got along with him. All sorts of stuff. So, Ridley Scott's kind of a dick. The studio didn't like him, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, due to their meddling, probably what could have been one of the most classic movies of the 80s ended up being a cult classic movie of the 80s.
Hey, we got a sequel out of it.
Yeah, a really good sequel. Which, there's some things I need to talk about that the sequel does a lot better than the original when we get to it.
All right,
It'll be a
don't spoil
specific
anything,
part
okay?
when we get to it. But so fuck yeah, miniatures. First opening scene of the
that's my
movie.
thing.
Like, yeah, more miniatures. This is how Total Recall starts too. Like, check out Miniature Mars. This one's like, well, check out Miniature Future Los Angeles.
The Blade Runner miniatures are way cooler. This goes back to something we talked about, although I don't think we actually posted it in the we didn't because of the Lord of the Rings Christmas podcast. We recorded it, but we didn't really have a format, and it didn't really work out.
Yeah, it was just a little too messy.
So it might be something you get as a bonus podcast at
Yeah,
some point.
we'll see.
Try again next year. Miniature work is something that has completely almost disappeared from movies. And I think it's terrible.
CG that shit now.
Right, but you can do both.
Mhm.
Do miniatures and then
touch it up
with some CG. It's gonna look so good, trust me.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
But this movie looks amazing. It's
Marvel, start using miniatures. God damn it.
Yes.
I'm tired of just seeing 90% CG, Robert Downey Jr. on 100% CG, foreground, background, interacting with 100% CG characters. Like, I'm not trying to watch a fucking video game.
These are all, matte work, miniatures, CG, they're all techniques that you should be used together. But that's just, I'll get off my...
it worked for 50 years, so...
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is the kind of the movie that brought all those elements together, and it's one of the most visually appealing movies of the last 30 years.
Yeah. The last 20 years at least.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace came out in 99, right?
Yeah. That was more visually appealing than Phantom Menace.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But Phantom Menace was the start of, fucking do everything on green screens.
Yeah.
And it got climbed on so hard. All the prequel trilogy did about that. And now that's all you see in big budget movies. Because that shit's cheap and easy. Ridley Scott specifically said, I only make entertainment films. There's not any artistry or philosophy in Blade Runner. It's just supposed to be entertainment. And what the fuck are you talking about, Ridley Scott? Because this movie's mesmerizing. I was really bad about taking notes watching this movie because I'd just sit there and be like, hell yeah, sound and lights. Fucking, I'm having a great time. Oh yeah, shit's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I really.
And it deals with the idea of humanity, identity, life and death, all these like larger existential philosophies.
It's really the
And nah, this is just entertainment, man. He's just shooting robots.
I mean, it's really it's asking the philosophical question, like the trite philosophical question, like to be or not to be, right?
Yeah, just like Pris says at one point.
Mm-hmm. Or she'll say, right?
When she's hanging out with
JS
J.S. Sebastian,
yeah.
who has Methuselah syndrome, makes him older, right?
Yeah.
He says he's 25. Obviously, he's an older actor. But check this out. The actor who plays him is only 34 when they filmed that.
Oh, man, I feel like I look better than that, dude.
Yeah, you're 34 right now. Don't look anything like that guy. Like,
you sure you didn't actually have Methuselah syndrome?
I don't know, man. That was pretty, pretty hard 34 years, I guess. This is the problem, though, is, like, white people go in the sun too much and don't put on sunblock.
Oh.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I take a lot of milk baths.
Yeah. I get, what is it? Stem cells from children's foreskin injected into my face.
Oh my god.
Apparently, which is something Sandra Bullock actually does. Remember how I said she looked like a babe still? That's all you need, I guess. You need penis face.
Oh, Sandra Penis Face Bullock.
Yep.
That's how she's gonna get referred to from now on. I hope she's happy.
Yes, the miniatures are great. I guess we'll get into the plot. It starts off like perfectly. Wee Chin guy's here.
Yeah.
He's getting interviewed by some. You don't immediately know he's a Blade Runner,
but something's going. He's like a doctor guy.
He seems like an authority figure.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, okay, well.
For considering these guys are, quasi-grown, quasi-designed, like it seems like you'd give your Cyberman a better chin.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like the perfect versions of humans, like stronger, better, that sort of thing. Like,
no, they're stronger and more agile, and they're at least as smart as us.
Yeah, some say approaching our intelligence. But yeah, like design a better chin. Come on, I saw. That's the thing though, is you saw Nvidia's AI created artificially.
No, I don't look at it. I didn't see it.
Oh, well, it created like 30 something like human faces that look like real people, but the people that don't exist because
are they Uncanny Valley faces?
No, they straight up look like real people. Oh. But yeah, they're not all like movie stars and shit though. So I guess like
You think the designers are like, give this man a bud chin?
Well, I was thinking maybe they just based them off of other people that already existed.
Oh.
And like, whatever. Fuck it. He's just gonna be lifting shit anyways because he's like a worker replicant. Yeah. He's getting the Voight Kampf procedure done, which is where they ask strange sort of moralistic questions to the replicants to see what their emotional responses are because they don't care about animals and stuff. But like seemingly Rutger Hauer's character is, I feel like he would be able to pass the test.
Well, Rachel too. It seems like she
would.
Well, I think the thing is, Rutger Hauer would have the same thing as Rachel. He would just take like 5 times as many questions to fail.
But they get him eventually.
Yeah, but also his name is Roy.
Yeah, Roy Batty. But do you think there also be? That's the thing is, do you think there's humans that would fail the test after like 100 or so questions?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I don't know. I don't think after. I mean, some of these, honestly, Rachel, if I question like 3 or 4, I'm like, this bitch is a replicant. She's like, well, your son brings you his butterfly collection with the killing jar, and she's like, I'll take him to the doctor. Why is that fucking weird?
Well, he's got a killing jar for the butterflies.
That's how you get a butterfly collection. In 7th grade. I had a science class. I had to get a bug collection.
Mm-hmm.
Mom helped me make
helping you get bugs.
Mom helped me make the killing jar. I got Grandpa. This is a side story. Grandpa brought home a termite from work, and I brought it to school, and she's like, "Oh, that's really a termite." And I'm like, "Grandpa owns his own pest control business. I'm pretty sure it's a termite." You bald shit.
It was just because it was big and terrifying.
It was a worker. It was a soldier termite.
Big old fat head.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like if it's weird to have a butterfly collection and a killing jar, then I guess the state of California owes me and my entire 7th grade some
restitution.
Yeah, restitution and some psychological work.
Oh, I didn't realize the killing jar was something specific to entomology. So I was assuming like he's collecting butterflies and killing them. Like, I guess that's a little strange.
Yeah, but I guess.
But if it is just part of the process, then it's kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, really, you just soak a rag. I can't remember what gas it was.
Oh, and you just get him in there,
And you
and
just
they're like,
close the lid.
you can asphyxiate it.
Yeah, they asphyxiate.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little gruesome, but like, at least you like the whole point is to preserve them, right? So you're not just like, well, smash this butterfly
Yeah, right.
and
You
display
put him
it.
to a board and.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Yeah, and then
so that question, I'm like, this you fucking bitch.
Also,
You're a replicant.
well, then also the next question, it's like a wasp lands on you, and she's like,
kill it.
It's like, well, what's so bad about killing the butterflies? Yeah, that's where they got her. It's like, that's what I thought. Humans don't ever contradict themselves. But yeah, he's getting the tests, and he knows he's failing it because he's like, man, I'm a replicant. I don't understand this shit. And he's like, let me tell you about my mother. She's a gun. Blows him away.
I feel like when he used to answer these questions, like I feel like I'd respond the exact same way to these questions, but then I'm just an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, what's a tortoise? Now, I don't even know. I've never seen a turtle.
Well, here's the thing. So this is in Philip K. Dick's book, the original. There's not really animals left on Earth. Mm-hmm. And the ones that do exist are hell expensive. And there's some allusions to it in this movie.
Yeah. Like, do you think if a real snake can live here?
Yeah. But, yeah, so he doesn't know what a tortoise is. He's never seen a turtle because there's not really fucking animals anymore.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is, like, let me tell you about my mother. Bang, 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 bang.
Well, it's because he has no memories of his mother.
Yeah. Rachel does, though, because she's more advanced. Well, not more advanced, but they manipulated her quite a bit more.
Planted false memories.
And then he blows that fool away, that guy was smoking cigarettes like Richard Spencer. He was just like, I'm not going to inhale this. I just love the cool taste of smoke in my mouth. But immediately, cut to, who's that? Is that Han Solo? No, his haircut's better.
This is though where I'm like, oh, lasers in the future, Raymond Chandler.
Yeah. He's just like,
there's some
looking sad detective, and he's like reading the newspaper. It's all rainy. He's like, I guess I'll get some noodles. And then this is the first introduction to street speak, which is a concept that Edward James Olmos came up with for this movie.
I think isn't it in the book?
No, not specifically. Well, in the book, it is multicultural future. Chinese is as common as a language as English, so Spanish, that sort of thing. Edward James Olmos specifically had the idea of like integrating multiple languages into common speech for the people down on the streets, since they would all be different cultures interacting with each other. You hear Japanese first, the noodle man. He's talking to Harrison Ford in Japanese because, whatever. Harrison Ford understands him. He doesn't speak Japanese, but he understands. And the other guy understands English, but he's speaking Japanese. But then Edward James Olmos and the other guy come up, and he speaks Hungarian mixed with Korean mixed with German. Deckard doesn't understand that, but the noodle man does. Because he's out there on the streets.
Deckard pretends not to understand it.
He probably does, yeah.
Well, I mean, in the theatrical cut, he straight up says it in the narration. He's like, I don't understand it. I'm just not going to make it easy for games.
Oh, I mean, they should have kept the narration in there then, because I totally missed it.
I didn't. I was pretty sure at the time, because I don't know, whatever. But before I watched the theatrical cut again, they threw that narration. Like, this motherfucker understands it.
Oh, I was being facetious. Like, yeah, he's just being hard to. He doesn't want to do his job.
Well, he doesn't have a job. He's quit. Now he's twice as quit. And then he's going to be 4 times as quit by the time he walks out of here.
Edward James Olmos is fucking dressed like the coolest pimp of all time in this movie. Like, he's always on the street.
I thought the same thing, too.
He always looks so fucking cool.
I'm like, this motherfucker, he's not a very good detective. All he does is origami and just like a pimp.
Yeah. Well, he's like... He seems like otherworldly in the movie. You notice? Like, he just pops up and he's like, yeah, here's some origami. Let me say some cryptic shit.
Did you notice my cane?
Yeah. He's cool. They need to make a movie about him. What's he all about?
I assume he's in Blade Runner 2049.
No.
I don't believe your face.
But this is classic detective stuff. Like, nah, I quit. I'm not doing it anymore. It's like, you gotta come back. We got a real serious case. And he's like, damn. That was just what I'm thinking about. They're pulling me out.
Too old for this shit.
He's
not that old.
No, not really. Deckard's got a really cool coat. They show it off quite a bit.
I'm going to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
first
Joss Whedon stole the idea.
Yeah, he's got his collar down. It's all rainy, but then he gets to the office and he's got his collar up. And you're like, oh, Who's this badass?
Well, here's the other thing now to think about too. If it is true that all Aliens, Blade Runner, and Firefly are all in the same universe, does that mean Deckard was a brown coat?
No, maybe he's just famous for. Well, I don't want to spoil 2049 for you, so we'll just say that maybe he's famous for other reasons in the universe, and they just thought he had a really cool look, and they're like, all right. Yeah, this is where you find out Edward James Olmos is an origami man. He just likes to make origami stuff. It'll be an important one at the end of the movie. Well, like I said, he seems to be like otherworldly, supernatural figure, and we'll get to that, and we'll have to argue about Ridley Scott some more. The chief, I guess, and I forgot to write down what this dude's name is, but he's one of those guys that's just in lots of stuff, you know?
Oh, the chief, yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, here, Deckard, let me show you this snuff film. Because it's the weak chin guy blowing away another Blade Runner. Alright, let's start listing off the replicants they're looking for, okay? And the first one's weak chin guy. He's a worker. He can lift like 400 pounds nonstop all day.
The only way to hurt him is to kill him.
That's right.
Leon is his name.
He's a tough motherfucker. Then they get to Zora, who's like highly trained assassin. Like she just straight up kills
Yeah, but she's like a sex assassin, though.
Hold on, we're gonna get to this real quick because this is setting me off. Then obviously Roy, he's a military replicant. He's probably the leader because he's just fucking Rucker Hauer. And they're like, and this one's Pris. She's a sex slave.
Was it a Prim? Or was it Pris?
No, it's Pris. But yeah, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a feminist tangent right here. So when I watched this version originally, in 2008, which is like when I was old enough to understand the details of Blade Runner, I was like, that's kind of strange. They just were like, whatever, she's a sex worker. Okay.
She also had military obligations too, right?
No, she's
I thought she had both.
No, she's just a common pleasure model that's used by the military and workers and stuff. Yeah, she's a sex slave. I was like, they just did that, huh?
What do you expect?
All right, so
Ridley Scott has presented you a realistic world, Kyle.
Kind of. Whatever, not too big a deal in 2008 when I saw this. But now, after 2049 coming out, it's really the way they treat the female characters in 2049 as compared to the original one. Like, yeah, it's fucking a drastic improvement. Like, there's something about the original Blade Runner that's really like, yeah, fucking women exist, I guess.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it probably is not. Well, the only woman you're really supposed to care about in this is Rachel, right?
Yeah, but alright, so. But we're gonna get to that too.
Yeah, no, I have some shit to say about. I'm sure you know, but.
Well, let's get into it now since I'm going off on this feminist tangent.
Sure.
First thing is.
Well, yeah, before I know, I want to read the whole line.
Wait, no, I want to talk about Zora first. So she's they don't mention anything about her being a sex assassin in this scene. All they mention is she's a highly trained assassin.
Isn't it written on the thing? It might be written on the page because I have it in my notes.
Maybe, but I'm thinking maybe it's just because when you see her later, she's working at a sketchy burlesque place.
I guess I remembered it, but I wrote my notes before I had seen that scene.
Yeah, but here's my thing: is she's a highly trained assassin. She's here on Earth. She's just working at a sketchy burlesque place.
Well, my thing is,
and then when she realizes Deckard's the Blade Runner, she doesn't just kill him. She runs away.
She tries to kill him, and then the other sex workers see her. And
yeah,
so
but why doesn't she just kill? She's already on the run. Only got a few days left to live, anyways.
I know, in the movie it doesnn't work, but I think that's her
thing.
She's afraid she's gonna get caught, is what it.
Yeah, so but she just straight runs away, like I don't know. It's just like women, I just feel like they handle the female characters so badly.
Yeah.
And then later on, Daryl Hannah's big fight scene with Deckard, it's like, well, we got to be able to see her nipples and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, again, we've talked about this multiple times on other movies, so I don't know how often I want to mention the unnecessary nudity.
Yeah.
You see it. But we didn't really need to see any of their breasts in this movie.
No.
It could all be straight up implied. We know what's going on.
I don't like that. I don't mind nudity in films. And the nudity is not super upsetting in this movie.
Yeah, it's not necessarily gratuitous.
I just feel like they're like, whatever. Yeah, there's some female replicants. I don't know, whatever. But I guess they mostly focus on Roy, anyways. But then no, there's a lot of development with Pris, but she's just hangs out with Roy,
Yeah. Really, the only replicant, you get some development with Roy. Leon is not a real character.
No, he's just
he gets the touches.
He's just like he's a brute character. From
Zora is the same thing as Leon. I think Zora and Leon were the couple, and then Pris and Roy were the other couple, right?
Yeah.
And you get some with Pris, but I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Rachel then.
What are we supposed to talk about the character? The only one we're really supposed to care about is Rachel. She's not even a character either.
No, and also, like, Deckard is just a lonely, desperate man. He doesn't know her at all.
Yeah, right?
He basically bullies her into their first sexual encounter.
It's a classic...
And she's having, like,
life crisis?
Yeah,
like an existential crisis.
She doesn't have anywhere else to go, you know what I mean?
No, that's in my notes here.
They just treat... Yeah. So, basically what I'm saying is... Thank God things have changed a little bit.
Replicants can't consent. Replicants have no consent. Replicants need no consent.
Yeah. Denis Villeneuve did...
Let me teach you how to make sex.
Yeah. Did a much better job with the female characters in 2049.
Well, I mean, I guess some of it's Ridley Scott as a director, but he didn't write the movie, right? So...
No, but Ridley Scott was forcing... changes to the screenplay and story daily. So he's like, hey, why don't we make Zora sexy snake sex lady who's got her titties out? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It feels weird. I don't want to put the blame on Ridley Scott here because he is responsible for one of the most beloved female characters of all time. So.
He did make Alien.
He clearly knows that women can be people and are characters. I just don't know if that was part of the story he was looking to tell here, or maybe it's not really his story. That's the weird thing about... I always feel weird about the auteur theory of filmmaking. Unless you're the writer, director, producer, actor, even then there's other people involved.
No, but there's auteurs, and Ridley Scott's one of them. Why?
No film is 100%. Well, I mean, look at the theatrical release is not his vision.
Yeah,
so no film is entirely one person's vision. Even the final cut isn't. Because I don't think
Well, he didn't get to film everything he wanted to.
Right. So... And the other people are making decisions. He's not the one on the camera. He's not the one doing the acting. It's not. There's no true auteur film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not one of those people that I don't think we need to go back and look at every film through the lens of 2019.
Yeah,
as it were. But just because of having seen 2049,
I get you.
2049 very recently. And the stark difference between how the female characters are treated, it's like, yeah, like shit used to be like way dumber. So simplified. But yeah, I don't know, that's the end of my rant. We'll talk more about Rachel.
We get to it.
Like, oh, good. But yeah, Pris, she's a sex slave. That sucks. They got an artificial owl because animals are dead.
Here's the other thing. Do you even need the void content? Just shine a light in their eyes.
Oh yeah, because when there's scenes all the time where their eyes reflect red. I'm glad that it exists though, because there's a variation of it in 2049 that is really fucking intense. I don't know. Denis Villeneuve, he's a way better director than Ridley Scott. I think 2049 is better than the original Blade Runner. Yo, fight me on Instagram. Luckily, smoking can't hurt the test.
That's a good thing. Because everybody is constantly smoking in this movie. For rich people, they smoke a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure there's like a pill you take in the future as a rich person that's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true.
Deckard's trying to see if she's down for like a threesome. She's like, trying to see if I'm a lesbian or what?
Your husband brings home naked photos. No, wait, you bring home naked photos and you show it to your husband.
You love naked ladies? But
no, wait, I'm your husband and I show you naked photos.
Surprise, Rachel's a replicant. Who would have guessed?
I know, she wasn't very awkward and stilted from the first go.
Our main guy here, he's like, yeah, more human than human. Not quite. Yeah, Roy Batty's the most human replicant, though. I don't know, I relate to him. I get it. He does some crazy shit that I'm like, yeah, I'd probably do that.
Oh, yeah, well, I got some stigmata, huh?
Mm-hmm. He just needs to get his hand working.
Oh, okay.
Enjoy Coke, damn it. There's Coke all over the place.
There's some weird red pill shit going on.
Red pill?
Isn't one of the advertisements like an Asian lady taking a red pill?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's specifically for something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I hate how that red pill shit has been co-opted.
Well, I mean, they still
Total
from the
Recall,
Matrix.
Blade Runner, Matrix.
Yeah. Well, all the people on the internet that talk about red pill got it from the Matrix because they're all weren't born until 1995.
I imagine they've seen Total Recall though.
Maybe.
But now they're up on it because they're all into the mythology of it. So now they know every movie that has a red pill in
Yeah,
it.
which is interesting because its origins are Matrix, a major studio film with major studio interference, and they're like, yeah, the red pill, you take it, you can see through all the lies. I learned about it in this major studio film. Really
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
Thanks, Warner Brothers. That's the same thing with the using the V for Vendetta Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, man, I know Alan Moore did originally, but you didn't learn about it until you saw that shitty Kevin McTeague Wachowski Brothers version of it, and that's where you got the idea. Warner Brothers makes money off of every one of those goddamn masks you buy, you fucking idiots. We're anonymous. We don't. Fucking get, man. You fucking nerds on the internet don't know shit. You do like 5 minutes of research and you're like, I don't know, it looks cool.
Woo! There's a great story from Moore about trying to find a Guy Fawkes mask when he started to write V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Like apparently it used to be a really big thing when he was a kid. Like everyone wear Guy Fawkes masks.
What,
Guy
like,
Fawkes Day.
Bonfire Day?
Yeah, for Bonfire Day. But then when he went to write the graphic novel, he was trying to find one, for artist reference, and like they just didn't sell them anymore.
Oh, because of Thatcher's England, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, we can't,
no fun allowed.
Yeah, well, it's also a rebel. But you know what? Guy Fawkes was a fucking Catholic extremist terrorist, so fuck Guy Fawkes too. They're like, oh yeah, we're anonymous. We just want to overthrow the government for the Catholics. Ugh.
For your king wears the pony hat back in Rome.
Yeah, that's what I
Rome?
mean.
I
Like,
can't
fucking
talk
do
Rome.
your research, you fucking nerds. Yeah, there might be some background noise. That's my cat snoring. Snores as loud as I do. Roy runs into Leon, and he's like, you get them pictures or what? And he said, nah, there were some dudes there. Deckard.
He's like, was it men? He's like, nah.
No, he's
tortoise.
No, he's like, yeah, it's men. Policemen? But yeah, Edward James Olmos and Deckard check out a spot that Leon was at.
Then again, we have Gaines here. Instead of doing actual police work, doing origami.
But,
like, oh, I'll make a matchstick dick, man.
Yeah, but they do find the snake scale. Well, we don't know the snake scale yet.
Yeah, he found the
Find
scale.
First, he's like, "What's this? Dookie in the tub?"
Yeah, there's like some green shit in
And
there.
he's like, "Oh, a scale. Okay."
Replicant.
That was Snake Dookie. Policeman. But then check this out. Leon and Roy go to hang out with Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China.
One of my favorite character actors.
James Hong? Yeah, he's pretty good. His scene's really cool. I like they're in this like super cool environment. He's got like tubes in his first. I'm imagining
He's
so.
like heated.
He gets like some
because he's
nice hot air.
clearly freezing to death as the interrogation goes on.
And Leon is an idiot. He just sticks his hand into super freezing chemicals.
He's clearly not the brightest replicant.
He's like, what's this? What's it smell like? Cold. It smells like cold. Yeah, it's like, oh, what the fuck?
I mean, I guess it's the thing that replicants are just children, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're only 3 years old,
mm-hmm.
right?
They obsess over weird shit. That's why Leon has the pictures that he's always taking.
Mm-hmm. Roy,
Well, I mean, Roy is like, at this point, is like a more formal person. He's at the end of his replicant life, right?
All of them are like only like days or weeks away.
No, I think Leon's only 2 years in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says his actually is April 2017.
No, he said 2016.
I think it's 2017.
Mm-mm.
No, it's still another year.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Roy is like at the end of his life.
Well, no, I think even Roy is like starting to break down. That's the thing is, I don't think it's like specifically 4 years. It's at the most, you're gonna get 4 years. Yeah. Also, I guess Roy's probably reading lots of books and shit. He seems like he's interested in.
He does seem like a smarter replicant than the other ones too. He does beat the doctor in chess.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole idea is that he's a military replicant designed for fighting off-world, but I'm sure he's in a leadership position, so it's like, oh, he's fucking West Point, top of the class kind of like military guy, presumably. like some sort of like admiration for the military top brass kind of idea.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if you're worried about replicants. It seems like a bad idea to design leader replicants to be in charge of your army. You should probably just have regular humans do that.
Yeah.
That's just me, trying to plan.
It might
for
be the
future
case.
guys.
It might just be.
The other thing too is like someone needs to read some more Isaac Asimov because there are some rules that you should have paid attention to.
Well, I think another thing you could possibly consider is, since that's the whole point of the movie a little bit, or at least that's vaguely the philosophy of it.
Really, Colin Scott said there was no point. It's just dumb.
Yeah, but someone else wrote the screenplay.
Right, and Kyle, he's a true auteur filmmaker.
Yeah, but my point, it's not ever specifically stated in the movie, which might be because Ridley Scott changed it. But there is a theme in the movie that's inherent from the screenplay, presumably, where it's about these replicants. Oh, they're replicants, but are they're human,
are they
right?
people? Right?
They're close enough to being human.
Are they alive?
So possibly this isn't Roy's programming at all. This is just how Roy developed as a human being, since presumably they're not fucking androids.
They're like cybernetic.
Well, they seem to be biological. Because right now they're talking to James Hong. He designs their eyes.
Yeah.
And he seems to be working with actual
realish
biology.
eyes.
Yeah. And they bleed. It looks like red blood. We don't see any servos or gears when they get shot. It looks like it's just inside a human being. And they go into this more in 2049. I'm pretty sure replicants are just more like biomechanical clones.
Well, even then, still, if you're programming memories into them, you got to be able to program certain things that this is a poor setup to run your industry on.
Well, yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Is they're not just programs. They're not. They're.
Yeah, I get it, but I guess my whole point is then it doesn't really work. You can't have. This is gonna be the same problem we run into in a few years with AI. I guess if you ever get true artificial intelligence, you can't have an unpredictable product you're selling because that company is going to be sued out of existence the second a replicant goes crazy and kills 20 people and steals a shuttle and lands on Earth and kills the Tyrell Corporation, a Blade Runner.
Well, that's why replicants are legal on Earth, is because of a replicant uprising off-world.
Right, but that's what you see what I'm getting at. If there's ever an uprising off-world, guess what? There's not going to be a Tyrell Corporation anymore making replicants.
Unless Tyrell Corporation owns everything, including power in the government, like corporations do now.
Yeah, but even then, like this has happened before. There's been huge corporations that have had a lot of power in the world, like the Dutch East India Company, and if they fuck up, it causes huge problems, for the governments that are, supposedly backing these companies.
Yeah.
But the companies still just fucking go away.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see in the future.
This is only 3 days away, man.
No, this is November 2019, so it's about a year away. Jeez. Let's, Lopan, James Hong, they're like, man, why do we gotta die? We gotta get this shit fixed. Like, help us not die. And he's like, man, I just make your eyes. And then he tells them about,
Dr. Tyrell. Oh, what's his actual name? I want to say Dr. Tyrell, but it's Tyrell Corporation.
Yeah. His name's like Edson Tyrell or something like that. His name is Tyrell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, fucking Tyrell, no, he knows all them shits. And presumably Roy's like, how do we get to Tyrell? But it doesn't matter because we cut to Deckard. He's going home. He's like, man, what a night. I found that scale and everything. And there's an elevator gremlin. It's Rachel. But he's like super surprised, like as if he saw a monster. I was like, damn, elevator gremlin.
He's about to blow her away with this.
Yeah, and she's like, oh man, Tyrell told me I'm a replicant. It's bullshit. Look, I got pictures. And he knows some of her memories. He's like, that's bullshit.
He's like, let me tell you some things about yourself you've never told anyone.
Yeah. And she's like, oh man, that spider story bothered me.
About the spiders eating the wild?
Yeah, which I mean, I know it's the thing that happens, but just the way it's told and like the lighting in the scene and stuff, I was like, oh, this is sad. I'm just imagining her. Well, not her, obviously, but Tyrell's actual niece as a little girl watching that, like, oh man, that'd be pretty sad for a little kid.
Well, I mean, in a way, she gets to live the experience of the spider because it's kind of like, her entire world is getting eaten alive right now.
Interesting. Good screenplay.
Whoever wrote that line,
His name was William Peoples Reed.
But I mean, we can't be certain that it's actually him. Like some people get screenplay credits, but only like 50% of the.
I do know that he wrote like pretty much every draft of the screenplay, but it's up until they were filming when things were being changed, and he was rewriting things that Ridley Scott wanted, but then the next day he'd show up and Ridley Scott's like, "Nah, we're doing this instead." So
Did he write 2049 or someone else did it?
No, he didn't. It's Denis who directed it, and the guy that he usually collaborates with, I believe.
That's weird.
I mean, Denis wanted to do it. Denis Villeneuve. You probably, since you haven't watched any movies since 2008, you probably haven't seen any of his movies, but he's probably one of the best directors around right now.
Yeah, unless it's like a movie the kids want to see, I probably haven't really seen it.
Oh, did your kids ever want to watch Prisoners?
No.
They didn't want to watch Enemy about Jake Gyllenhaal and his evil double.
I mean, no.
It's got a really scary spider scene.
Man, what's with this guy's spiders?
What's this guy's spiders? So she's really sad. It's like, oh, poor Rachel. I feel sorry for these replicants. So that part is written well. At least you're like, oh man, it seems like pretty shitty to be a replicant. She's got sad android problems, and then in the background, a little sad jazzy synth.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. Yeah, thanks, Blade Runner. Cut to Pris. We finally see Pris.
Well, wait. There's a point where he's like, let's have a drink. It'll solve all your problems.
Yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, okay, and then leaves. Well, he just loves to drink because he's a hard-boiled detective. Mm-hmm. But we need to finally see Pris. This is young Daryl Hannah,
the prostitute on the case.
She turns into Daryl the Grouch. She's hiding in the garbage. Here's J.S. Sebastian rolling up. He drops his keys. She gets scared and runs.
Fake scared, you mean?
Well, we get to that, but I just want to point out that so you saw that she ran and slipped and banged into the car and broke the window. That wasn't rehearsed. She actually slipped and put her elbow through that window, and it wasn't breakaway glass. She tripped the shit over her elbow.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but she acted through it, which is crazy. She's just like, oh, hey. But yeah, this is obviously, was sitting there waiting for him.
Yeah, it's
Roy told her, hey, this is how we can get to Tyrell, go hang out with this guy. Mm-hmm. Which is cool, because he didn't normally in another movie, he'd call her on the phone and be like, hey, this is our plan, this is what we're going to do. But this one's just shot and acted so well, it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on.
No, what they really need to do is have Harrison Ford put in a stilted narration explaining why she's there.
Alright, so here's Pris, one of the replicants you learned about earlier.
I have to get a drink.
She's trying to trick this guy. You see, here she goes right now.
Gonna give me a trick on.
Yeah.
She's gonna turn trick, but not that guy.
But J.S. Sebastian is another lonely man.
Yeah, well,
seems nice.
Creeper weirdo, and then we learn.
I don't think he's a creeper weirdo.
No, he's a weirdo. Creeps are obviously dangerous. Weirdos are just weird.
Yeah, well, he does have these weird dwarf monsters that he created, which presumably are replicant. They're essentially replicants because he's a genetic engineer. Which is another thing leading to the fact that they're probably biological. Because why would he?
I'm gonna guess. I still would. I guess I still in my mind they still consider them cybernetic because they're not true clones. They're grown in a lab, so I consider them more.
Well, they're
cybernetic,
machine designed maybe, but they're mechanical as humans are mechanical, but
right.
Well, I guess we don't know completely, but it seems like they're basically biological. Well, I think there's a philosophical level to that too. That's not addressed in the film. It's just my own thoughts where I could see this being in the future, where biological things that are created will be more likely to see them as human as compared to things that are strictly mechanical.
Probably. But I mean, that's with Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
Shit, too.
Yeah, but that's beyond the film. We'll talk about that outside the podcast.
We'll talk about that when we get to watch I, Robot with Will Smith.
I don't know if we'll get to that one.
It's just an Audi commercial, isn't
it? Kinda, yeah. The car's all over the place. And Chuck Taylor. Yeah, so he's got these weird dwarves. One of them always bumps into the doorway.
Yeah, that's cute.
What are you doing?
I programmed him to be cute.
where like Harrison Ford is really drunk again, just hitting the same note on the piano.
Unicorn.
He sees a unicorn. What's that all about? Why does he see that unicorn vision? Why did Ridley Scott specifically want to make sure that scene was in the film? But yeah, he's just drunk as shit.
Enhance!
Yeah. Go 35 to 46, enhance.
Enhance!
Yeah, so I could see this being one of the scenes that people saw and bad word of mouth about how slow the movie is, because this is like an 8-minute scene.
Yeah, there's no reason for this scene to go on so long.
I like it just because of how stretched out it is. I think it's interesting, but I know the first time I watched it, I was like, "What? Why does this keep going? What?
What is he enhancing?"
And also, he's enhancing one of Leon's photos, right?
Yeah.
And he finds Zora in it.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a snake tattooed on her, oddly enough, and she loves snakes. But he's like, "Oh, what? Fucking snake lady, huh? I gotta see what this scale's about." And luckily, there's just people on the street that are doing like
Yeah, street genetics. That's what I have.
yeah, they're doing analysis for people, and he finds out it's a snake scale, not a fish scale. She's like, "You stupid bitch. Why would you think this is a fish scale? It'd be the fucking biggest goddamn fish you've ever seen."
Well, there's big fishes out there.
Yeah. Well, presumably there's not, since there's no animals.
Oh, you mean Blade Runner? I just meant in general.
Oh yeah, I've seen some. This is where he goes to the burlesque place. He's talking to the owner. The owner's just not like interested in his cop shit. Tells him to buzz off.
He's like, "Yeah, Tabby doesn't want to hear your shit. Here's some drinks in the house.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up."
He says like, "Oh, well, are all your records in order?" And I'm guessing they're not. And he's just like, "Yeah, give this guy a drink. He'll be fine. He's a cop. They love to get drunk." He decides to give Rachel a call. I'm not sure how he contacts her because she's supposed to be already like on the run at this point, I believe, or maybe she's still at Tyrell's. I don't know.
We don't know if she's. Yeah, we don't know. We don't get any official cop word from him until the chief says it, and that comes a little bit later.
But she's like, "That's not the place for me." He's like, "Well, we try a different place. Get some drinks. See how it goes." And she hangs up on him, and he's replicant zoned. But really, actually, what it is like fucking your creep zone, man. You just met a couple days ago. What the fuck are you doing? You're a creep, Decker.
There's been a couple of days ago, but it's also the only person that Rachel's gonna turn to.
Yeah,
Like we don't know what her support structure is like.
She doesn't have it. You know, like Tyrell probably doesn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
She's an experiment, like he said. And then and like fucking.
So is this whole thing an experiment?
I don't know. Decker is just a lonely piece of shit.
Is Dr. Tyrell pushing Rachel on because that's part of the experiment?
Well, no. It seems like Decker's just going after her.
Yeah.
He's just lonely. He's a lonely man trying to regain.
According to narration, an ex-wife.
Yeah, I think he was married in the book too. Still married.
That's the other thing. I'm starting to read Philip K. Dick. The only thing I've ever read of his is
PKD?
Man in the High Castle.
Oh, the one about Hitler?
Hitler?
Oh, you know, he came up with the idea for this movie or this book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, while researching Man in the High Castle.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, because he got to go to the London Museum and read through like their records that they have from the Nazis, and he was reading one from a Nazi SS member in Poland, and it was basically like, yeah, man, it sucks. All these crying, starving children crying at night are keeping us awake. And he read that and he's like, man,
That's
fucking how
these,
how can like these Nazis may have looked like people, but they weren't. And then that's how I came up with the idea for replicants. They weren't called replicants in the book; they're just androids.
Yeah.
And in the book, they probably were androids, not just bio monsters. This is where I started to zone out, not because the movie's boring, but because I was starting to get like really enraptured with the like set design and sound and stuff. So my notes are gonna be pretty sparse. But Deckard does a really nerdy voice to like trick Zora.
Yeah. So hi, I'm from the Entertainment Guild. I forget what it actually says.
Yeah, he's from the Screen Actors Guild, trying to make sure they're not getting Me Too'd.
Yeah.
And she's like, man, you know I am.
He's like, fucking seriously? That shit.
What's going on here?
I wonder in this scene, at what point does she pick up on him being a Blade Runner?
Probably pretty quick, because you meet cops just out not doing cop stuff, and you're like, oh, that's a cop.
Yeah, but Deckard's supposed to be the best.
Yeah, the best at being like the drunk detective cop. He's a true detective. Him, Woody, and Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
And soon to be Mahershala Ali.
What? A Blackman?
Yeah, a Blackman. He's going to be a star of True Detective Season 3. You know how Season 2 was great? One of the best things ever made? They definitely need a Season 3. Oh, yeah, Zori gets retired. I don't like this scene because she just runs and gets shot.
There's a part in my notes that just says, "Don't walk," because I'm pretty sure that constantly something is yelling, either walk, don't walk, walk, run.
Oh yeah, you mean like the traffic lights?
Yeah.
They also say "prosido."
Yeah.
Because Spanish. Well, it's also Los Angeles, so the shit should be in Spanish anyways. He retires there, and then he goes and gets a Sung Tao. I was like, whoa, that's that beer.
He always starts eating and then Gaines shows up.
Gaff.
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 I keep calling Gaines, don't I?
Whoa, why is he called Gaff?
Gaff.
Yeah, showing up looking like a pimp. And he's like, hey, hold on, let me mystically teleport you away because I'm like fucking, I don't know, like a voodoo priest. It seems like he's one of like the voodoo like gods. He's Papa Legba. Also in this scene, you'll notice that Edward James Olmos has fucking bright blue eyes.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Apparently, Rutger Hauer told him he should have blue eyes in some scenes, and so Edward James Olmos went and got like super blue contacts. He only wears them in a couple scenes. So that's, I mean, like he's so like mysterious and otherworldly. It's like, man, what's going on?
Yeah,
but yeah, no, he's got intense blue eyes in this scene. Oh, he catches a glimpse of Rachel, and there's no way she's gonna not stand out with that hair and a giant fur coat, right?
Yeah, you look way out of place there.
But Leon shows up, slapping him around. He's got a lot of weird lines in this scene.
Mm-hmm. How old am I? What's my weight? When's my birthday?
Yeah,
how tall am I?
Time to die. This guy plays Leon. He's got a weak chin. So I don't like the look of him. I don't think he did a very good job acting either. Some of his line deliveries is really weird.
I don't know if I think it was intentional, but I don't like the choice.
Yeah, I don't like it. So I'm glad he gets shot in the cabeza by Rachel
after he tries to get Deckard's eyes to the back of his head.
Mm-hmm. Rachel shoots him. She's like, "Kapow!"
How does it feel to live in fear? Well, it didn't last very long, I guess.
I live in fear every goddamn day.
I know, it doesn't help.
Have you seen these streets? Yeah, so they go back to Deckard's place, and here's where I'm going to talk about Sassoon again, which I mentioned the creek and stuff.
No, I was wondering when it was going to come up.
Remember, pretty much every afternoon, there'd be at one point, just because the afternoon wind would show up, because it's so windy there. I don't know, the creek or whatever just created a perfect wind tunnel so that you'd always hear like ooh from the wind.
Yeah.
The background sound effects in their like sad scene they're having here about killing each other is like the same exact sound. It's like ooh. And I was like, whoa, it's the wind. It's the afternoon wind.
Are you gonna go north? You gonna come with me? You gonna follow me? You gonna come after me when I go north?
He's like, nah, I owe you one. But someone will.
And then his eyes flash.
And it's Edward James almost. She's like, damn, I won't be able to get away from him. He fucking teleports and shit.
Edward, yeah, well, he's not gonna fucking do shit. He's gonna show up at your house, leave you an origami crane, and walk out.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, he's like an angel or something.
But you notice Deckard's eyes light up in the scene like he's a replicant.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about is he or isn't he? Ridley Scott said he is, and that's why the unicorn scene's in the movie. That's why Edward James almost leaves him the origami unicorn at the end because he knows the replicant.
Because he knows his memories because implanted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of. If you take Blade Runner in isolation, it makes sense. I guess having not seen Blade Runner 2049, I can't say for certain whether he's a replicant, but the fact that Deckard's in 2049 would make me think that he's not, because he should be dead if he's a replicant.
Well, that's the thing is we only the Nexus 6 models we know for sure their lifespan. So there might be replicants like Rachel. Obviously, I'm thinking is designed to live longer.
Well, they say she's a Nexus 6, or at least the chief does. He's like, there's a Nexus 6 down at Tyrell Corporation. Why don't you go put the machine on her? And he's like, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah, but they might think she's a Nexus 6, but she's like special Tyrell off-brand, like, you know what I mean? It's like his own special design.
Right, yeah, that's true. And the Nexus, obviously the 4-year lifespan is something that is artificial. Like, probably could make them last longer if he wanted to.
Well, he tries to say, like, he tries to argue with Roy about it when Roy shows up to kill him. And
well,
it's kind of like,
and I don't know. The thing that I guess what I would say in that argument with Roy is that Dr. Tyrell's like, once we've made you, it's your limit's set.
Oh, meaning he can't fix it.
He can't fix it now. It's too late. It was what I got out of that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like it sounded more to me like during.
But there was a point where the doctor's like, "We made you as well as we could."
Yeah.
But I still think that from what he's saying, the way he's talking, he's just saying that we made you this way. Back. It's too late now, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. When you watch 2049, it provides more context to some of the things in the original Blade Runner.
Yeah, but I guess based on the information I have in this movie, I take it at face value, which I have no reason not to.
Yeah.
Deckard can't be a replicant because of Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, that would make sense. Also, he can't be a replicant because he's always just getting whooped up on by the replicants.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The other big one in favor of him not being a replicant is that they're supposed to be stronger and more agile. And he just gets his shit kicked out of him the entire movie by these replicants.
Yeah, he's always just running away. This is the sexual assault scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really, I don't like this scene now that I'm like old enough to understand it. Because, yeah, he like traps her. She's got nowhere else to go anyways. She's the only person who knows.
Life is crumbling.
Yeah, and he's like...
He's vulnerable as shit.
And yeah, he's like telling her what to say to make it seem like consent.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing is like, this is how people act, right? That's the other way to take this thing.
Okay, but because of the memories she has, and for thinking she's been a human her entire life,
right.
She should know.
Well, she didn't know dog meat isn't something you should eat.
Oh, yeah, but I'm thinking people probably eat dog meat in this future.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, damn, so what? People eat dog meat now. There's like the Korean dog festival. But yeah, you know what I mean? That does immediately tip me off. I guess they date rape.
It's not date rape. It's more like
rape.
Rape.
Yeah. So that happens. Thanks 1980s understanding of romance, I guess. I guess it's supposed to... Maybe it's supposed to harken back to the 40s tough guy. Because, that was a big thing in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Where, like... she doesn't know what she wants. I just gotta really throw her around, and she'll be like, yeah, this is what I want. Times of manliness.
It is a long time. It's again a few years since I read a Raymond Chandler novel, but I don't remember that being like there was that element, but it wasn't from the main character. It wasn't Philip Marlowe.
He wasn't slapping dames.
Yeah. I mean, he might have slapped a dame once or twice, but
it's like, get your head together, lady.
He wasn't like, come here and kiss me. Tell me you want to kiss me so we can screw and make sex at each other.
Yeah. You dumb bitch, you don't know what you want. You want me. Yeah, so that scene sucks. Luckily, I guess they shot a longer, more erotic sex scene. I'm glad.
God.
I'm glad
Is that making any of the other 18 cuts of the movie?
No, I'm glad it's not in there because there's not anything sexy about the lead up to it.
No.
Man, kind of like, I don't think I like Deckard anymore. He just really seems like a piece of shit. Then we cut back to Pris, and she's hanging out with J.S. Sebastian. He's got Methuselah syndrome, accelerated decrepitude, as Pris calls it. And Roy's here. Roy shows up.
Yeah.
She's like, hi, Roy. And he's like, what the fuck? I really like this scene. My note here says, whoops, because I definitely stopped taking notes for like 20 minutes. But I really like the scene where Roy and Pris are like hanging out with him because it's so like ominous and threatening, but they're not like really threatening him. It's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of trying to appeal to his sympathies or his empathy.
Yeah,
like, we're like you.
Yeah, well, because you could tell he's like interested in replicants. Like he thinks it's cool.
Yeah, he's like, show me a trick, slave.
And she does a backflip. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool, I guess.
Like, oh man,
humans aren't allowed to do backflips anymore.
Methuselah syndrome doesn't give me that ability.
Yeah. Roy. So Sebastian's playing chess with Tyrell. We've been playing the game for a while. And
I've only beat him once.
Yeah, Roy figures it out real quick. He's like, just do this. Tyrell ain't that shit. Roy's the shit. I'm Rutger Hauer from the Netherlands. Yeah, they just really intimidate the shit out of him, but also at the same time are like ingratiating themselves with him. It's very interesting, really well acted by Daryl Hannah, Rutger Hauer, and this man who I forgot to write his name down. Sorry, this guy. He's another guy that you've seen in other shit.
Yeah, he does some good parts here and there.
Like, I feel like he was in, what's that TV show that was, like, in the Northern Exposure?
Oh.
I feel like he's in it.
Shit. Mom used to watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
You might be right.
I just remember his voice.
I'm gonna go back and look. I think you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, that guy. So this is a really good scene. I'm loving it. They're gonna go kill Tyrell. And yeah, I still wasn't keeping notes because I was like, man, look at that goddamn pyramid miniature. And the sound and all this was going on. Like, man, this is a good fucking movie. That's the thing about Blade Runner is I could definitely see when it came out people being like it's too slow, not anything's happening. But I really like movies that are like have this meditative pace where a lot of times you are just like looking at light and pictures and their sound. You know,
this will be a weird comparison, but it actually reminded me a little bit of My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
With because they do a lot of really My Neighbor Totoro, nothing happens in that fucking movie.
No, it's
just a pace of everyday life.
It's a slice of life.
But there's the shots of like the meadows and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded me of that, just the establishing.
Yeah, nice. I like movies like that where it's just like, look how cool this looks. Here, we'll throw some cool sounds in too. Sometimes pretty sounds, and you're like, wow. Like I just get mesmerized by this movie. Same thing with 2049. I don't know, like even I like Upstream Color, which is a weird movie that a lot of people don't like because there's like no dialogue. The story's like barely explained in it. If you pay attention, you do know what's going on. But yeah, sometimes like fucking I don't care. Dialogue, like I don't give a fuck. This is visual storytelling. Like just show me shit. Let me see if I figure it out. Just make it look cool and sound great. Yes, man. They're in the elevator. It stops because like you can't just let anyone up here to talk to Tyrell.
Yeah. What is it, my child? Some
chess move.
6. I don't know.
Yeah.
Queen 7.
But so he's like, oh, a little brainstorm, huh? Let's see what this sucker does. He beats him. He's like, shit, we gotta talk about this.
You better come up.
And he does.
Like, I bought a friend.
He's like, hey, check it out. It's fucking that replicant that wants to kill you. Yeah, because Tyrell immediately knows who he is. Well, no, he doesn't know specifically who he is, but he's like, oh, okay.
I'm surprised you didn't come here sooner.
Yeah.
It's at this point in the movie that I got like a Star Trek Wrath of Khan vibe. Like Roy is kind of like Khan, in that he's a genetically modified being that is designed for war, but wants his people to live a different life.
Oh, so you're saying Star Trek copied Blade Runner?
No, I'm saying that Blade Runner comes Star Trek.
I think Wrath of Khan comes out after Blade Runner.
Well, I mean, Star Trek was a 1960 show, and Khan appeared in that in like episode 20.
What? I thought he didn't show up until the Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan is a sequel to the episode from the Star Trek TV show.
Oh my god. Star Trek's so dumb, man. Rutger Hauer wasn't in Star Trek. That's crazy. Yeah, but I bet the set didn't look as dope as Tyrell's apartment.
I mean, have you seen the Star Trek TV show? I'm sure as shit didn't. It's not cardboard.
Yeah. All the sets in this movie are great. It lit so well. I mean, really, Scott was a bitch about the lighting, and all the lighting crew complained about him nonstop, but it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta be a bitch.
I still don't really have any notes for what's going on here, but luckily I do remember this film.
Well, I mean, there's a great line in the theatrical release that didn't make it in the final cut.
Whoa.
I want more lifespan, fucker!
That's the theatrical release?
Yeah, fucker!
Oh my god.
Yeah, Father works way better than the story, but that's a great line.
Oh! Okay, so, it's the way they filmed that scene is so it can be interpreted either way. And one version is used for TV. And one version is used for...
Well, the theatrical cut, it seems very clearly it says fucker.
I feel like maybe... It might be the same line read, but you just interpret it differently.
No, because I specifically went back and listened, or when I watched the theatrical cut, I went back and replayed it like 2 times.
Well, alright. Well, the father line is better, I think.
Yeah, I
mean... Because it does...
I mean, the delivery from like the fucker, you might have been able to interpret it either father or fucker,
Mm-hmm.
but I like it better to be clearly father.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Roy doesn't seem like
This is
like,
off topic, but
fucker.
the
You
Johnny
little fucker.
Cash version of Hurt,
Mm-hmm.
when he's like, my empire of dirt instead of my empire of shit, I like
Yeah.
that line a lot better.
Empire of dirt.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the same thing.
I don't. Yeah, but I can't. Johnny Cash saying shit in a song, like whatever. Saying I don't generally care what anyone says in a song, but I can't imagine Johnny Cash being like my empire of shit.
Well, not only that, but even the Trent Reznor version,
I don't pretty like Trent Reznor.
Yeah,
well, his soundtrack works cool. He seems like an interesting guy. I don't think Nine Inch Nails ever really had very good songs. And I even kind of like some industrial music, so I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you had some Nine Inch Nails albums.
Yeah, I tried to get into it when I was probably like 14 or so.
I remember that.
But I was like more into just straight up punk at the time. It's like, man, this shit doesn't slap. They're not yelling about fucking Nicaragua and shit.
I have Con in my notes here because that's what I thought. And then,
oh, he's gonna smoosh his head.
Well, I mean, first they go back and forth. Like Roy's like, "Well, what about this?" And the doctor's like, "Nope, we tried that. Doesn't work."
Oh, about extending his life.
Extending his lifetime, and then Roy just gets fed up.
He's like, "Well, you know what? Fuck it then, you dick."
He's like, "Let me kiss you. This is our goodbye kiss.
Mm-hmm. This is a kiss of death.
Yeah. Goodbye, father."
Mm-hmm. And he smooshes his head.
He does the thing that Leon tried to do to Deckard.
Mm-hmm. They originally had a prop head, but it was just like Rutger Hauer, like he's like, "Man, I just can't do it right. So let me use his actual head." And yeah, they installed like little tubes behind his ears that would like leak blood out, and he just kind of smushes that guy's head. Yeah, Rutger Hauer.
We also learned that JF, not the brightest bulb, because I would have snuck out as soon as Rutger Hauer's attention was on the doctor. He would have turned around and was like, "I'm sorry, Sebastian." Oh, where the fuck did he go?
Yeah, I also don't understand why Roy kills Sebastian anyways.
I think he's just... I don't understand why he kills Sebastian, but then spares Deckard at the end.
I have the theory on why he spares Deckard at the end.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, but I also don't kill. Why did he kill Sebastian?
Yeah, he helps you guys. As long
as he's gonna do anything. Also, you're gonna die in like 2 days. So
yeah, it's over, man.
Yeah. But we'll get to that when he says.
I'm sorry, Sebastian.
Yeah.
I guess he's apologetic at least.
Yeah. So back to Deckard. He's chilling in his car. He hears that this guy Sebastian was killed along with Tyrell. Found his body too, and you're like, how the fuck you kill Sebastian? I don't get it. And then the cops roll up and like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working.
What are you doing? Arrest you.
I'm working. What are you doing?
Just like a fucking cop.
Yeah.
Real dick.
And he's like, I'm Blade Runner, blah, blah, this. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry, sir. Don't arrest me. He calls up J.S. Sebastian. First answers, and he's like, hey, I'm his friend Eddie. And she hangs up because she's like, you ain't got no goddamn friends. You already told me that. He showed me his dwarves.
Well, no, I think she's like, oh shit, a friend.
Well, no, I think she realizes like it's like.
No, I mean either way, I guess it doesn't matter because either the reactions are the same whether she thinks someone's onto them or it's like, oh man, one of his friends is calling.
I think she knows someone's onto him though because she immediately hangs up and gets ready for a surprise attack.
Guess so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why the line's in there earlier. He's like, no, I don't really have any friends. I just made my own friends. He's like, ooh, okay, man.
But I don't know. Also, the way she says, like, I'm an old friend, it's like, you never know. The kid could have friends as you.
That's true, but Decker's like, well, I guess I'll just go there.
Mm-hmm.
I got the address. I'll check it out.
Well, now he's like, oh, there's fucking someone there that shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's like, that's one of the replicants. I'm gonna shoot her ass. So he does. He first sees the dwarfs. That fucking dwarf bumps into the doorway.
I'm telling you, they're programming that shit.
Because it's cute.
It's cute. They're toys. I'll make you a toy.
I guess. He's like, man, this place is fucking weird. He's walking through a room full of other toys. Some of them are sexy lady toys. So. But one of those sexy lady toys is actually Daryl Hannah. And she surprise attacks him.
From Splash?
Mm-hmm. From Blade Runner.
Oh.
Priss.
And that's when you learn that Priss is like a crazy ninja gymnastics sex fighter.
Fucking great at gymkata. She's doing gymkata all the time. She like is crushing his head with the thighs, spins him around, like
She has him.
pulling on his nose and shit.
Yeah, she's like, all right, I'm gonna go over him real quick, and I'm gonna like do some gymnastic moves at him.
Yeah, she wanted to do like another like cool Gymkata attack. He just shoots her. And man, her death is crazy. She's flailing everywhere. So like,
I don't think that scene goes on as long in the theatrical release.
yeah. Well, he like shoots her some more to stop her.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't handle this. It's like Silent Hill shit. He's like, oh no, this is too much.
Did Billy Lebowski the Coen Brothers pay homage to this scene a little bit? Because the scene where Julianne Moore first appears in Billy Lebowski's
Oh, she's like flying around.
Yeah, and doesn't she latch onto Billy Lebowski's neck with her thighs like this?
No.
It's so a while since I've seen it, so I
no, she just like kind of scares him. I think that scene is a reference to something else.
Okay.
But it's a pretty good scene. Big Lebowski's a good movie. Yeah, so Pris is dead. Yeah, like I said, here's a scene where like, oh, you gotta make sure you can see Daryl Hannah's nipples in this weird unitard she's wearing. Make sure the crotch comes up like real high on her unitard. Like I don't like usually only think of Daryl Hannah like fucking Kill Bill.
I just think of her whistling in Kill Bill.
Yeah,
now. That's all I think about.
And she's still very beautiful in Kill Bill, but there's like she's cast really well in this because she like plays innocent really well, but then also like really threatening and Daryl Hannah was really good in this movie. I wish she wasn't exploited so much, but she's also like only like 18 or 19 in this movie, and like I don't know, I'm sure she's getting pushed around and stuff. Or I don't know, maybe she's into it. She like fucking broke her elbow in one scene. Was like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Didn't she live in a tent for like a year with John F. Kennedy Jr.?
Did she?
I'm pretty sure she did.
Man, John F. Kennedy Jr. had a good life.
Well, I mean, not so great. His dad died when he was pretty young.
Yeah, and he died when he was pretty young, but he had a nice, short, good life, living in tents with Daryl Hannah. Yeah, no, his life wasn't that great. Sorry, JFK Jr. Yeah, so fucking Roy comes home, and he's like, oh, shit. My baby girl, they got her. They got her, dude.
No. Let me kiss those dead lips.
Or her tongue's out a little bit.
Yeah,
and
no.
she's like, I'm gonna die with my tongue exposed a little bit so I can get that last kiss. You think that's like super gross?
The way he does it, yes. It's a little too sexual. It's not loving, you know what I mean? It's not affectionate in the way I would expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much. I feel like that scene's supposed to be like somewhat unsettling, but I'm like, nah, it's a high stress situation. Like, but I could see myself being like, oh man, bye forever.
Just give me a little quick tongue kiss. I get it. Yeah, it's like just not. It's too carnal, I guess. I expect more love and affection in that moment. But
yeah, well, he does come back and does like more.
Yeah.
More, it's more affectionate, but then still also a little bit like kind of like primitive.
Yeah, well, I guess the other thing too is like he's a replicant's only been alive for 4 years, so maybe we should manage my expectations.
Yeah. Well, also even when he comes back and does the other thing, I'm like, yeah, I might do that too.
You're a weird man.
Well, I mean, based on the situation he's in, like life or death, like the stress of the situation, like I just be like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'll just rubber blood on my face. I'm gonna go kill Deckard. But yeah, I'm kind of weird, so I do like that macabre shit. Yeah, but Roy kind of just goes crazy now. He's like, I gotta take off all my clothes and start howling.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Well, if you'll notice, all the replicants in the movie have some animal theme to them. Like Chris is like a raccoon, Zora a snake, obviously.
Turtle man.
Maybe
that's why they cast that guy.
Oh, because he looked
like a turtle.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Fuck this, I'm a wolf now." Woof, woof. He does look pretty intense, like running around in the dark in his underwear, like just popping up, being like,
pushing through walls and shit.
Yeah, he punches through the wall and like breaks Deckard's like fingers, and he's like, "All right, now try to shoot me."
Well, then Deckard just re-snaps back
his
in
left
place.
hand. He also just left hands him right away and shoots off part of his ear. But yeah, Roy's too fast. He fucking dodged bullets and shit. Deckard just starts running away. He's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He crawls through that hole in the roof.
Well, first he hits him with a pipe.
Yeah.
And fucking Roy's like, that's not fair. Well, first of all,
he says using a gun's not very sporting, too.
Yeah, but it's all fair, man. You're a fucking replicant that's like 4 times as strong as him. You're lucky all he had was a pipe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to die.
Yeah.
You just pushed a man's eyes through the back of his head.
Like when Deckard's like in the bathroom, like, oh shit, goddamn, and he just pops his head through the wall.
Yeah.
He's like, you can tell he's starting, like, his systems are starting to fail at that point because he's saying weird shit.
He's not all there. He's sweating weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his stuff he's saying kind of makes sense, but it's like, no, not really.
Yeah, it's like a fever dream.
And then he his hand stops working, and he's like, no, not right now. And he's biting it. And
he's
shit.
like, I know how to do this. The stigmata.
Yeah, which I don't really get the mechanics of. Like his hand's like permanently cramping up, like getting rigor mortis, and so he just pushes the
nail
to
tendons.
Yeah, so
yeah, it's like
releases it.
There's some weird symbolism in this scene.
Yeah, with very Jesus-y stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool, man. He's just fucking running around. Rutger Hauer looking good and scary. Like, if he was chasing me around, I'd probably be like, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. But I think I might be bigger than Rutger Hauer anyway.
Plus, he's quite old now. You probably got it.
Well, I mean, like, him, this exact scenario playing out, would be like, I don't know. And him not being a replicant, just being Rutger Hauer in his prime. Like, I could probably take him. I did not like how wet and dirty everything was in the scene. I mean, I like it for the scene, but I was just imagining myself in the situation. I'm like, oh man, his Rutger Hauer's feet are getting so dirty. Like, that kid's like rolling around in this garbage.
As like the actor or as like the character? Because as a character, I imagine it as like, yeah, it's fucking gross, but at this point, I'm just trying not to get my eyes pushed to the back of my head.
Yeah, well, a little bit the actor, and a little bit just like the character too. Like, I'm sure in the moment you're not gonna care, but
afterwards you'd be like,
yeah, this is me afterwards being like, oh my god, it's so dirty, my coat. Oh my coat.
Oh my coat, I saw all my teeth. My coat.
Yeah. Yeah, did I live? Oh my coat. My coat. Oh. Yeah, but Roy's not really beating him up too much. He's just kind of chasing him, playing with him. Deckard tries to do a big jump.
He's looking quite naked.
Yep, in between two buildings. Yeah, apparently, Harrison Ford's stunt double hurt himself doing that scene. He like separated his shoulder, but he still was able to hang on. That's the shot they used. And then, because of an impending like strike, they weren't sure if they were going to be able to film the stunt double for Rutger Hauer to do it the next day. So what they did is they just moved the gap a little bit closer together, and Rutger Hauer just did it himself. He was like, nah, just tighten it up, I'll do it. And he's like, yeah, no problem, Rutger Hauer. No! And that's how Rutger Hauer died. Nah, he's fine. He has a dove for some reason, though.
Yeah, where did that come from?
He just picked it up. He's like, oh, I found a dove on the roof. And he's just holding it like by the tail and legs and shit, too.
See, I watched the movie twice, so I still, the second time, I'm like, alright, I'm gonna see where this dove came from. But, I don't know, magic dove. He's a magician.
Yeah, so same thing, Deckard's fallen, and he's like, yeah, this is what it's like to fear.
It's like, yeah, I know what fear's like, I'm a man.
Like human beings are full of fear.
Yeah,
we're prey animals.
I'm familiar.
But Deckard's about to fall, and wow, Roy saves him. Why? Why would he do this thing? Why?
Because his body's shutting down, he's going crazy.
Why?
He's also got...
Well, he lifts him up, and he gives...
speech about memories?
Yeah, also a lot of it's improvised by Rutger Hauer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
My notes, I wrote, memories are a funny thing, Roy. Next time, write a book.
And then Rutger Hauer did.
Yeah, no. Not Rutger Hauer, though. Roy. Some of the shit he says is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like, interesting.
It's probably because he's only 4 years old, but this is the kind of shit all humans have to deal with. Like,
yeah.
Your memories are not going to live past you.
Well, maybe
to a
like
certain extent,
a couple
generations at best.
Yeah.
Unless you're like George Washington or Genghis Khan, you're not really going to be remembered.
Nah.
And
I will be, though, because of this podcast.
Obviously, we're going to be very famous people.
Yeah, everyone will remember me.
Yeah. Not me. I'll be like, there's Kyle McDonald and his brother, Steve, I think.
Steve McDonald. That sounds weird.
Steve McDonald.
Steve McDonald.
I was talking to Court the other day. I'm like, you didn't realize that if my family never wanted to get into politics, there's a chance you'd be talking to Sean O'Shaughnessy right now.
Yeah. Sean O'Shaughnessy. I guess your name probably wouldn't be Sean.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be.
O'Shaughnessy.
And I like to think in some weird alternate.
There's Sean O'Shaughnessy. Hey, it's me, Sean O'Shaughnessy.
Hi, everyone, it's me, Sean O'Shaughnessy.
That's funny.
Jameson Patrick O'Shaughnessy. There's like not a more Irish name than that.
Yeah. Ryan Thomas or Sean
Yeah.
Stevens, your other son. That's pretty harsh. Yeah, so he says some cool stuff. He's like, man, you ever seen battle cruisers getting all blown up?
Yeah, like those are cool things. Like, so you should just write a book.
Yeah. I
Instead
mean,
of like,
that'd be
going
cool.
back to Earth and murder a bunch
That's
of
a totally
people.
different movie about a replicant and trying to write a book before he
That'll be
dies.
Blade Runner 2051.
Yeah.
That's the movie I want to make.
Yeah. So I think he saves Deckard just because he realizes, oh, this is it.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. Like he has like a end of life moment.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what? None of it matters. Why would I kill this guy? I shouldn't even bother killing Tyrell or Sebastian.
Yeah, I feel a little better about Sebastian right now.
Yeah, I think he's just like, nah, it didn't matter. What does matter is that, you know, at least I got to live. I have these memories. Shouldn't have done all that terrible shit for nothing. So
he kind of has that moment with Dr. Tyrell too. He's like, I've done so much horrible things, but wonderful. Oh, nothing the god of genetics, genetic modification will let me into genetic modified heaven for,
and
right?
It's like, let me do one more horrible thing. Except for I don't like Tyrell. They don't show anything about him that specifically makes him straight up evil. But,
oh no, he's a fucking evil.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, yeah, you can kill him. I don't care. Get that guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also,
go
in more detail when he goes back to Pris and like rubs her blood on his face or whatever. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, but then it's also like, I would have done that and been like, yeah, fucking monster time. I'm gonna really get Deckard now. But I think the Pris thing too is part of it. He's just like, I really loved her, and she's gone now, and I guess I'll be gone too, and maybe Deckard he can bang a replicant. We'll bang, okay? Yeah. So then Roy freezes up. Deckard's like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, man. I'm so drunk. And Edward James almost shows up again out of nowhere. Throws him his gun.
That's how he does it.
This is what I'm like. Almost is like a spooky ghost. He's like the ghost of Christmas future.
Well, my feeling is like everybody, because Sebastian just died, so the cops are like heading over to the apartment to check things out. And that's
and he came across his gun.
Came across his gun.
You all right? Looks like everything turned out okay.
Oh, she's not gonna live forever, but who does? See ya.
Yeah, it's like too bad she can't. She's not gonna live, but who does? And then he's like, wink. He disappears into the fog. I'm like, what? Was he an alien all along? What's going on?
Old gaffing games here.
Yeah, so he runs home. He's like, Rachel, and she's just sleeping. She's trying to get over all the trauma she's experienced lately.
I mean, that's what happens when you fall into like a deep depression. You sleep a lot.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's not. Yeah,
I don't know that I've ever had the kind of experience to go through what Rachel, the kind of depression Rachel must be in right now.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Just say you want to make sex with me.
Yeah, like, hey, do you love and trust me? And she's like, I don't know, I've only known you like a week, but whatever, I guess.
My entire world's crumbling. Everything I've ever loved and trusted is disappearing. So yeah, sure, I guess.
I don't have any other options, so okay. And they're like, all right, let's get out of here. We get on an elevator, doors close, and fuck yeah, big synth sounds.
Yeah, and then what happens is we get some aerial photos, and there's a car ride.
No.
And then Deckard's like, but the one thing that Gaff didn't know is that, and this is what Tyrell told me, although no one else in the audience heard it, and I specifically said I didn't know these items when Rachel asked me about them earlier, but as the secret conversation that wasn't on camera shows, Dr. Tyrell says that Rachel here is special, and she has no end date. Also, these aerial scenes were shot by Stanley Kubrick for The Shining.
Yeah, it's leftover footage from The Shining. Because they wanted to have a happy ending, or happier ending. I think the ending in the final cut's happy enough. It's
That's
like,
perfectly
who knows
fine.
what will happen.
It's the kind of ending you need in a 1940s noir detective story, so...
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
They're like, whatever, they're going to go to Alaska or some shit.
Yeah.
Like whatever, it'll be fine.
And then the Yiddish policeman
big synth score. And I was like, hell yeah.
Big synth score.
Fucking perfect. Good enough. So, what do you think? He's Replica? Deckard's Replica? Pretending that 2049 doesn't exist?
I don't know. How do you do that?
Your imagination.
I guess as the movie with the information presented in the final cut, maybe.
Yeah.
It's the question's there, but there's not enough information to say one or the other. Deckard certainly doesn't show like the extra strength and agility.
Yeah, he's just a really shitty replicant.
Yeah, he could be a really shitty replicant, I guess. The other thing too is he clearly has a lot more memories implanted than even like Rachel does, because he's a better replicant than Rachel or Roy if he is a replicant.
Mm-hmm.
And the other question too is, are all the Blade Runners replicants?
They're just out there killing their own kind?
Yeah, that's how I. And if I was gonna write it,
well, I mean, if I was actually gonna hire someone to hunt down replicants, I'd probably design a replicant.
That's what I'm saying. If I wrote, that would be my sequel to Blade Runner 2049. You find out all the Blade Runners replicants.
Well, I mean,
I guess I could watch the movie tonight and find out that's exactly what it is. But
I mean, it's not a big plot point. You'll know right in the beginning, like, yeah, he's Ryan Gosling is a replicant.
No,
no. And most of the Blade Runners are replicants now.
Damn. Fucking good. How good am I?
Yeah, no, I like that about 2049 too, where it's just immediately like, nah, that's not what this movie's gonna be about. He's the replicant. Yeah, because I don't think. So it's been a continuous debate about Blade Runner. I don't think it actually fucking matters one way or the other.
Yeah, it's not important to the story.
I don't think he is a replicant. It doesn't like I don't think so.
The two parts in favor are like the eyes and the scene,
the unicorn stuff,
the unicorn stuff. Like why does Gaff leave a unicorn?
Yeah, why does he know about it?
How does he seem to know?
I just attributed like Gaff he's a supernatural being. No one ever even really talks to him. He's just like there.
Well, I mean, the only person that talks to him is Deckard, right?
Yeah, even when he's in the office with the chief and stuff, like no one talks to him directly.
Yeah, but then the chief acknowledges that he was brought in, but there was another cop there besides Gaff, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's like this is the first time I noticed it watching the movie, but like there's something like odd about James Olmo's character. Like
I actually, when I very first watched it in a hotel room as a kid, I'm like, man, is Gaff a replicant? The entire time, I'm like, this dude's a fucking replicant.
There's something about it. It's like, what? Fucking... Because, I mean, he just appears and disappears. No one talks to him. He's just kind of there. Like, I don't know.
And I guess the restaurant manager talks to the chef in the very beginning.
Yeah, he, like, upgrades what he says, yeah.
That's the only interaction he has.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's just, he must be some sort of a lesser god or something.
He's the Tom Bombadil of Blade Runner.
Yeah. No regular man can dress that sharp. His facial hair too, like perfectly manicured.
Well, that's, when you're a street pimp.
Yeah. He's even got like a boutonniere on all the time. Like, God damn, what a dude.
What other important questions do we need to ask ourselves about this movie?
Nothing really. Watch 2049 instead.
No, the final cut's really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay.
Watch Final Cut.
Sorry, Ridley Scott, that you think you just made entertainment or whatever, but I do think there's quite a bit of artistic merit to this film. It's not anything groundbreaking looking back now, philosophically or emotionally, but some of those shots, like, you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, it does ask some interesting questions about life and memories and what it means to be a person and to be alive and to be value or worthwhile, right?
Yeah, but like you said, those are questions that most people are gonna face like in their late teens,
right?
Anyways.
I mean, that's is it actual Ernest Hemingway line or is it just from the Woody Allen movie that I'm thinking of, where he's like, all writing is about death.
That sounds like something Hemingway would actually say.
Right, but at the same time, is it just from the line of that fucking Woody Allen movie?
Here's a great Hemingway quote. He said, "United States military, give me a Jeep and some young boys. We're going to the Western Front." And then he did. Papa Hemingway. I can talk about Hemingway all day. This podcast is now about Ernest Hemingway. What's your favorite Ernest Hemingway book? Mine's The Sun Also Rises.
Oh, I was gonna say The Sun Also Rises too, but what am I thinking of? I actually like his short stories better than his novels.
Like The Old Man and the Sea?
Well, that's a novel.
It's a novella.
Yeah, but I mean like his true short stories, the ones that actually fit in a collection of short stories.
Oh, like Men Against Women, that
yeah.
collection. Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I like when he writes about bullfighting.
A Movable Feast, which I guess technically isn't. I really enjoy, but that's more autobiographical.
You know, Jake in The Sun Also Rises, his dick got blown off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily that, but he wasn't able to.
Yeah, his
perform
dick don't
anymore.
work anymore because of war.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
That's what my sexuality is Ernest Hemingway's understanding of gender politics.
I identify gender.
I identify as Hemingway's understanding of gender politics.
Man, what movie are we watching next? I think let's do some lighter affair.
A lighter fare. I was
Sleepaway
thinking.
Camp of this.
I was thinking we could watch. Oh man, I knew for sure last night what I wanted to watch. What was it?
Should have wrote it down. That's what I do.
Yeah, I should have. Usually I just remember stuff though. When I guess.
Yeah, sometimes that's the problem as I've gotten older. Things I tell myself, I'll just remember.
No, just remember for later.
I don't remember. I don't know if it's actually me getting older, or if it's just that as a kid I had less to remember. I actually think it's that.
Oh, Life Force.
Life Force?
Yeah, about space vampires.
Okay. We got it.
Yeah, it'll be lighter. This will be one that's like fun to watch because of how goofy it is.
The one I was going to suggest is Beastmaster, but I guess we'll say
Oh shit, we'll do that next. All right, cool. Check out the website.
McVentureProductions.com. We're going to be streaming more. But actually, when this comes out, we probably are streaming more.
Yeah, we'll probably be good. This is also a couple days before New Year's, so hopefully 2019 is going good for everyone.
Hopefully it doesn't quite look like the opening of Blade Runner.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Do we have a new president at this point? Since this will be out in like 3 weeks.
Probably not.
We'll see. But thanks for listening. This has been Space Force. Fuck the alt-right.
Donate or buy our shit. I don't know. Do something.
Do something. Do something crazy.